My name is Michael Bigham, CEO of Long Tech Technologies. I wanted to give you something this morning that may be very beneficial to you guys as far as parents and citizens of the United States of America. Mental health does not actually have it all together like they think they do. They want to make you believe that these medications can control the behavior of your children as far as bipolar medications, and that they would do better in school, that they would have the abilities that they don't have at the moment. In actuality, if you teach your children by the behaviors that you display, then your children would actually grow up to actually have the knowledge that they need to manage their own behavior. I wanted you guys to hear this video because I have added to my writings my knowledge of understanding this disorder that they call bipolar disorder that actually does not exist. If you teach your children by the behaviors that you display, you can actually teach them to manage their own behavior. They learn from yours. If you're impatient with them, they'll be impatient with you. If you're patient with them, they'll be patient with you. If you love them, they'll love you and love others. Kids learn from a very young age to manage their behavior and their emotions by learning it from other people, not by allowing these medications to control them. This is a new found truth. I am trying to explain it in such a way that you can understand, so that you know how to help your children manage their behaviors and manage their lifestyles and manage their ability to be productive and open-minded and alert people in society. Okay, this is my writing. The brain is a very important target when it comes to your sexual emotion. The brain is the center point of what makes us aroused. If you get a sexual thought, it is hard to control that arousal if your brain is numbed to the ability to lose that thought. The medication numbs that thought process and stops you from naturally controlling oneself. By knowing the truth about what you do with your feelings. If you numb the brain in this way, the brain tries to find another part of the brain's function to operate for it, so the brain can cope. So it has to compensate to function properly. This is why I am not responsible for my actions. What may seem like an outward appearance of behavioral management is actually your brain finding a way to cope with the loss of functions in a number of different parts of the brain. If you cannot have a decent thought process, then you cannot control yourself and your sex drive or arousal. In my case, the bipolar medications caused my brain to use the only part of the brain that was not being numbed, my sexual emotion. Even if you give me a blood test, you will not find anything wrong with my testosterone levels. And this is why mental health thinks they can get away with it. They think if there is no physical proof, then they cannot be sued. But there is me, a living, breathing specimen. The brain is the center point to the nervous system and hormones that cause you to get aroused. That is why we have a thought and tend to get aroused so easily. If we cannot have a thought that is knowledgeable of the truth and how we feel, then we cannot make good choices on how to control our arousal. The bipolar meds can block the good thoughts as well as the bad thoughts. That is why we lose the train of thought that we have when experiencing when experiencing ourselves, when expressing ourselves. My bad. That is also why we cannot defend ourselves when someone makes an argument against us. We try to find the explanation to defend ourselves, but cannot. So we suffer with having to stutter. And people that are not on these meds end up winning the argument. So this leads to feeling helpless, and our behavior gets worse. Then they say, let's try another medication. This only continues to prolong the problem and does not allow us to have a healthy and open-minded ability to speak our mind, and does not let others truly know what we are experiencing. These are also reasons why we have to have things repeated to us all the time. If we cannot keep a thought process, we cannot retain any new information. If you want proof of this newfound truth, well, I am living proof. I lived through this and have taken these medications. I know what they do to me and can tell what they do to others because I have taken them. So I am a living testimony. I am a artistic savant. I can't really think of the name of this word, but I'll try to explain it to you anyways. The hippocampus is where the bipolar medications was destroying my ability to retain a thought. The brain was trying to compensate for the loss, so my brain focused on the emotions that weren't being numbed, my sexual emotion. My brain was being damaged, so my brain tried to compensate. The amygdala is where my brain was being numbed as well, and it was hard for me to use my amygdala to control my thoughts. I could not control my doubt in myself because my brain was being damaged. And that word is actually amygdala. The amygdala is part of the frontal part of your brain that helps you control fear, doubt, and allows you to push away that fear and doubt in yourself and others. Like I said, if you actually have the ability to be able to control that fear and control that doubt on your own, and your children do too. They do by the things you say, how you express yourself, and what you say to them. They're consciously aware of how to control their doubt if they're not on bipolar medications. But by numbing that ability and numbing that part of the brain, your kids aren't able to learn how to control their fears and doubts. So they actually get worse. The medication do have an outward appearance of being able to control that. But the problem is that kids need to learn, and adults as well need to learn how to control these fears on their own. And they can't do that if their brain is shut off. So their behavior actually gets worse. And mental health seems to think that they can control people's brains by these psychotropic medications. The medication I'm on, Risperidone Consta, doesn't do that. It doesn't control that part of my brain. What it controls is the part of my brain that allows me to be in a distant space, not in touch with reality, but in a distant space. Um, I don't actually see things or hear things when I'm not taking my medication, but I have this in touch reality of not understanding where I am or what time it is, what place and time I am actually in. I have this more of a spiritual awakening of reality. I have more of a focus on being in a place where I'm actually not. So I have an omnipresent uh, touch of reality. So I can actually think, well, I'm in a place, I'm in heaven, and I'm speaking to God, and the angels around me. I'm Michael the archangel, and I have all this power to control my abilities and the abilities around me. So that is actually my problem. Being that I am on this earth and not in a place where, at this point in time, where Jesus is eventually going to take me, I have these delusional thoughts that I am in heaven and that I'm, omnipresent amongst God, and that I'm not there right now, and that's actually a reality that you guys need to understand with me, is that I am schizophrenic. Reality is here on earth. I am not in heaven yet. I realize that. So that is my problem. That's why I need these medications, so that I can cope, and I can be there. I can be there here on earth and be in touch with the reality that's around me. Without schizophrenic medication, I can't do that. And with bipolar medication, it only makes my behavior worse. It only destroys my brain's ability to be able to manage here on Earth, to be able to manage in reality. These medications really destroyed my brain. The medications I'm on now are working very, very well. Matter of fact, today I have to go get my shot. Um, I'm I'm really focused at this moment in reality, and the reality is that these medications are destroying your children. They're causing these medications are causing your children to grow up to be sex offenders. In a lot of the cases, this is true with people that have been accused and convicted of crimes that really aren't their fault. It is the medication that is totally destroying their brain and their ability to manage their emotions. You do not at all put these medications in these mental health clients' brains and expect them to control their emotions on their own. Mental health has this program thing that you go to, different programs, DBT, different programs that they call to help clients manage their behaviors and their emotions. But many clients struggle with the ability to understand and compensate for the loss that they have. So they don't end up learning these abilities and have to go through these classes for many, many, many years. And they struggle and they don't have the ability to be able to understand what they're going through. So therefore, they can't really learn the skills and the life skills that they need to be able to deal with life in general and be able to deal with people. So they have problems with being able to control their behavior. These medications do not control your behavior. They distort the ability to control your behavior. And one thing you guys need to understand is that these bipolar medications and these psychotropics are going to literally cause your kids' brain to be damaged. They cannot retain new information as far as in education. You will find that when you're on these bipolar medications, if you have kids on bipolar medications, they will not be able to get their GED. They will not be able to go to college. They will not be able to do these things. They will have that right of that ability to be taken away from them. They will not be able to have that ability. And you know what? It's a right of American citizen to be able to have an education, no matter if you're black, whites, Hispanic, a different sexuality, a religious denomination. It is totally taking away the rights of your children to be able to have an education. This is Michael Bigham. Please get your kids checked. Get them off these bipolar medications. I am very serious. This is Michael Bigham, CEO, Long Tech Technologies, out.